So as we speak, the federal court system is playing a game of what I'm going to call whack-a-mole with Elon Musk. I mean, in 3 short weeks, Musk and his loyal crew of Doge minions have wreaked havoc on the federal government, infiltrating more than a dozen agencies and departments, effectively ransacking them over the objections of the people who actually know what they do. In the process, they've upended security protocols, gained access to sensitive information, fired civil servants, and canceled government contracts. Nothing fishy sounding there, everyone. But the point is that their meddling has been so pervasive and so illegal that it's hard for the public and even the courts to keep up. I mean, sure, a federal judge rightfully blocked Musk's Doge crew from the Treasury Department's central payment system. But we still don't really know what they were actually doing during the time they had unfettered access or what they have done with the information they had access to. As one cybersecurity expert told the New York Times, their raid on the Treasury Department represents the most consequential security breach in American history. That's how he described it. And right after the Doge crew was kicked out of Treasury, they were given access to the State Department. We learned today that Musk's teenage henchman, Edward Korestein, is now posted to the department's Bureau of Diplomatic Technology. He'd like to be known by his juvenile online pseudonym. It's online, you can see it on the screen. But he's better known for being busted in a previous job for leaking company secrets. Not a lie, that is the truth. As the Washington Post reports, officials now worry that his position might give him a foothold for obtaining unauthorized access to classified material and obtain compromising information on other countries and foreign activities. Joining me now is Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. He's the ranking Democrat on the Senate's Finance Committee, and he also sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, thank you so much for being here. You've been very busy. I just want to start with new evidence regarding Elon Musk's Doge team accessing sensitive federal data, because I think a lot of people sitting at home are wondering what they're doing with this. What should we know? Where is this information? And you, Wired reporter, the Musk team has claimed they had read-only access to Treasury materials. That's key. But reporting from Wired states at least one Musk-aligned official had the ability to change the code of the Treasury's payment system, which also feels important to me. You've called on the Treasury Secretary to come clean about Musk's infiltration, because we all have all these questions. Have you gotten a straight answer or learned anything?
We haven't gotten a straight answer, and I'm convinced this read-only matter, Jen, is just a blatant lie. Later reporting showed that, in effect, the henchmen, the Musk henchmen, were going in there to cut off payments they didn't like. And the reality is Musk is about subverting the Constitution. He's already got access to Social Security, financial data, health data, you name it. And I think people need to know that these are the elements of a coup.
There was so much you just said there. And let me just start with the first thing you said, which is that you think they're lying about what they had access to and what kind of access.
We got extensive reporting that showed that this wasn't just a garden variety examination of files or film or something like that. This was an attempt to go after payments they don't like. Anybody who thinks that these are just routine kind of audits, from the get-go, they removed the official who had been at Treasury for what amounts to eons.
Yeah, and very well respected.
Very well respected, and by the way, respected on both sides of the aisle. And they took him out because they wanted somebody who was completely compliant.
Just yesterday, the Trump administration argued that courts cannot block Musk's Doge team from accessing the Treasury Department's payment system, saying the order impinged on the president's absolute powers over the executive branch. That feels not accurate. But do you have, you said they were lying about access. Do you think they're going to actually comply with the judge's order?
This is gobsmacking stuff, Jen. I mean, the reality is this is rewriting the Constitution. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we have Congress writing laws, we have the executive branch executing laws, and they're just making it up as they go. In fact, I think you talked with some of our folks about the 5 Treasury secretaries today. I mean, the 5 Treasury secretaries...
They wrote an opinion piece in case people haven't seen it.
And they basically said that our system is under siege, which is what I started saying at the beginning when we found out that the Treasury Secretary had given the keys to Musk.
Yeah, one of the points they made, and I'm so grateful you raised that, is basically that our democracy is under threat here. And part of it, as I read it, is that this is something that needs to be resolved in the short term, but this could all have a long-term impact if this isn't resolved, them having access.
This is setting precedent every single day. If everybody just looks the other way, you keep chipping away at the Constitution and you do enormous damage, which is what the Treasury Secretary said today.
As I started saying, there's a bit of a whack-a-mole game here
It's a
being
good
played.
characterization.
Because we're all just trying to keep track. You're trying to keep track and keep them accountable. You've also launched a probe into DOJ's interference with the Department of Education, including its access to sensitive student loan data, which is just completely outrageous. Talk to us a little bit about what you're concerned about here. What are the potential risks of a security breach, of people gaining access to that information?
Well, and a lot of these systems are not exactly the most current. And you go in there, you can mess up files and do permanent damage. And that's what we're trying to really show people is on the line here. This is not something that's an abstract situation. This is the prospect of going in with old systems and causing immense damage.
Senator Ron Wyden, I know people watching are grateful to see that there's some action, some investigations.
Wait till you see what we do with the whistleblowers.
Well,